All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on Facebook today. Today, my guest is going to be Dr. Rob Garcia, a warrior strategist, and he's going to talk to us about what your business should be doing in this stressful time, income streams, and how to go with the flow as far as this coronavirus change to the game that we are all experiencing. So, with no further ado, let me introduce you to Dr. Rob.
Thank you, Gail. It's first of all, it's an honor to be here. I really appreciate being a part of your new project, and I love the direction it's already going. For those of you guys that don't know me, I am Rob the Warrior Strategist. I am a business strategist here in San Diego, California. I'm the owner of Shift Advanced Life Design Magazine, 8-time author, and I teach people how to get business visibility and growth, and I teach income streams. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad that you could join us. Um, just before we get started a little bit, I want to talk to you a little bit about what you've got going on with the Success Engineers and the Warrior Strategist brand. I have been watching you from 5.5 hours away, so to speak, in Phoenix for a couple of years now. And just blown away by the amount of content that you not just produce for yourself, but the community that you have built among the success engineers and that Facebook group that is just snowballing like you wouldn't believe. I've reached out to a number of different people in that group, and they always speak highly of you. They are always looking for ways to promote each other and promote you as well. And I just want to give you kudos for that because it's not easy to do. People say, start a Facebook group, and it'll build organically. No, you've got to lift it up organically, and you've got some pretty powerful lifting there going on. So, good job for you.
Thanks, Gail. It's Success Engineers technically has died 2 times to where it was just a dead inactive group, and I didn't, mostly because of military deployment. So I'm also an Air Force reservist, and I've come back. I've made new content. I've resurrected it, and now it's running better than ever. And essentially, what it came down to was connection and finding out what posts engage people and get them talking. Off the top of your head, do you know what the most popular post is during the week? And I'll give you a hint: Tuesdays.
I know it's on Tuesdays.
What's on Tuesdays?
The venting posts, what's going on? You haven't sold anything in a week. The kids are tearing up the kitchen. What's talk it, and that totally. I'm not surprised that is your biggest point of the week because especially entrepreneurs, right? We've got to look like we've got it handled. We've got to look like, we're especially coaches. Oh yeah, none of this phases me. No. We've got to have our little areas where we're doing the what do they call it? Gallows humor and cynical stuff so we can just spit it out and keep going, drop off the baggage. So that's yeah.
Exactly. That's why I think so many people identify with it because you're right. Like if you're more on the spiritual side, you're going to be like, oh, just exude positive energy and rub crystals and, it's going to be okay. And the veteran side of me is like, let's be honest about this. Let's have a complaint session for this post. Just be honest. And it's okay if you're going home and chugging a bottle of wine and your kids are brats and you wonder where you went wrong in high school and college, why your life is like this,
Yeah.
But that's one of the successes of Success Engineer is being able to bond as a community, being honest and open about stuff, and then sharing the pain points that we're all enduring. So that's why I feel like it's the group is a great place right now.
It is. It really is. I've been the beneficiary of a lot of contribution in that group, so thank you for that. Now let's move on to the first question that I wanted to really ask you above and beyond success engineers. You talk a lot about income strategies, and I think that for those people who are all their eggs in one basket, with, for example, with a day job right now, that is 100% all your eggs in one basket. And if you can't go to work and make that money, what are you going to do? As an entrepreneur, we can do the same things to ourselves. This is all that I do. And then when you can't, make it to your BNI in-person networking breakfast meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning because nobody wants to shake anybody's hand, what's there for you now? So what are the top 3 income strategies that people should be having out of the gate so that something like this can't throw them as far off their square as it might be doing so now?
Yeah, great question. The first thing I always tell people, sit down and have your creative session, make some coffee, get some markers out, draw some diagrams, and just start self-journaling. You want to isolate what your best skill set is, what's in demand, and how to take whatever your day job was or your skill set or whatever your aptitude is and turn it into content. So the first 3 things I always tell people is design consulting calls, make a mini course, and make an ebook. And all of these are free to implement. There is absolutely no cost to making a course or making an ebook. And all you have to do is use Canva.
Yeah. Or you can call me. I do layout and design with Designer and can put together an ebook like that in case you don't have a whole lot of experience with doing it. Somebody like you that's been doing this for a while, I couldn't find my way around Canva, honestly. But the stuff that I've seen you put out is pretty good. So, yeah,
My whole magazine's
definitely.
out.
Yeah, you put whole magazines out that way, don't you? Shift?
Yeah, and then this guy, I wanted to give people kind of an idea. So one thing I did, I came back from the Middle East and I'd written a couple of ebooks, and I said, okay, what if I wrote an ebook, but also printed it out and then raised the price a little bit, made it a bundle package? So I wrote The Veteran Entrepreneur. Now this guy sold for $200, and I think it brought in between $3,000 and $4,000 just from a goofy idea. And all it is just business strategies, but specifically for veteran audiences, how to do Facebook better, Facebook Lives, like a military business planner, all kinds of stuff. But this is an example of the kind of projects that you can put together with just whatever your skill set is. And all I did was print this out at FedEx Kinko's, $20 to print this out, and I sell it for $200. That's pretty good profit margin.
That is really awesome. Now, that's different than what we're sending the people to on the ticker, which also is, we'll get to that later. But is that also still available online?
Not really. I was very selective about who I sold it to. I just wanted it to be veterans, and I did a print run. And once that print run was out, I'm pretty sure this is the last one. And so I'm going to focus now on a civilian version for everybody.
Okay.
Which is going to be Design Your Paycheck, but a strategy guide, both print and digital. So I'm working on that next.
Okay. So for all of you that are watching us right now on Facebook Live, if you're interested in knowing more about this Design Your Own Paycheck program, that's the transformation of the Veteran Entrepreneur program, put a comment. Yes, you would like to hear from Rob about that, so that when he's ready to release that to us civilians, you'll be top of the list for him to reach out to. All right. Anything else that you wanted to say about that ebook?
No, that's about it. Just like I said, the first 3 things, you need to learn the process. First of all, you need to find out like what works. You need to take a poll, like for market research, to find out what topics are in demand. Because I'll tell you, Gail, one of the earliest lessons I learned that was super valuable is that don't get caught up making something that you think is cool or interesting. Make something that your audience thinks is cool or interesting. and some people can't separate the two. And that's something I had to learn the hard way for about a year.
Yeah. Myself as well. I was in that same boat. I was like, okay, this is what I can do. What do they want? Right. And sometimes it is difficult to make that distinction between what you're really good at and what's marketable to people.
Exactly.
We all like to have a whole lot of fun sitting there watching TV, but those webcasts don't really hit so well just watching you watch TV. Right? All right. So on to the next part of what we want to talk about here. I don't want to get into the politics of it or all of the chaos going around. I want to stay real specific with this. What can businesses do to adjust to this new environment that the coronavirus isolation has thrown onto us?
The first thing to do, and I covered this a couple days ago in some content, is to do a self-adjustment and self-assessment, then self-adjustment. What I mean by that is different business models are affected in different ways. So find out what your limitations are. So for example, the pizzeria and brewery next door to me completely shut down, let go of all their staff, but they're now doing takeout. The liquor stores can now do takeout, and so you need to find out what your limitations are according to the rules of your state and your business model. So if you have an office that's been closed down and everyone's teleworking, obviously you're going to have to find a new way to get a client stream. You're going to have to set up a home office, and you're going to have to create a digital presence, create an audience. So like I said, the first thing to do, look at your business model. What are the restrictions placed upon you now? And what are the ways that you can generate new sources of income? For some, you can go online and start doing information products or consulting online, things like that. So that's really what the biggest change is going to be.
Okay. And do you think that once this is over, how much of the changes do you think we're going to keep? I mean, this is pretty much kind of forced most people to be able to get online, to do video, to figure out how their employees can work from home. Do you think we're going to see an exodus back to office environments? Or what do you think is going to come out of this?
It depends on how well they do at this time, because obviously a lot of businesses are going to fold. You can only pay rent for so long on an empty place that's not bringing in money. Mm-hmm. But then again, if you go digital and you develop these income streams and all your employees are on board, and you bring on somebody like me to consult and teach them how to make 3 income streams a piece for the company, mm-hmm. then you might have a whole new digital platform that might be the norm. Brick and mortar it works for some models and it doesn't work for others. Right. And so you have to really look. I mean, that's the biggest cost of overhead for most companies is the rent, the overhead of having a physical location. So if you go digital, obviously it's going to cut a lot of costs.
Yeah, really, really good point. Companies could be, lighter and more nimble. And we could see the going away of a lot of group things, unfortunately, I think. But that's not to say that those things won't be filled otherwise. So great. Tell me a little bit about what you've been seeing so far with the people that have either already been your clients or people that are coming to you and going, Rob, help me out. What am I supposed to do now? What problems are they bringing to you?
The biggest thing right now, it depends on what they did pre coronavirus. So if they were service-based industries, their jobs are gone, just gone for the however long it's going to last. Right. If they have something like if they're an online reseller, they're doing fine because they've already got their systems in place. So the people I've worked with, clients, customers, they're coming to me, and really most of them want to develop some type of digital income stream for passive income. And so they want to get that ebook to market. They want to get that digital course going. They want to, monetize their skill set and have an extra $1,000, $1,500 a month coming in, because I'll tell you, once a person develops 3 to 5 streams and they get pretty regular at it, it's kind of nice because one of them that's doing well can supplement the other ones if they don't do well. Mm-hmm. And then once you automate the streams, even better, because there's just money coming in, depending on how good your process is.
Right. Awesome. And then that's one of the things that you do help with as well, is helping people figure out how to automate their streams, correct? Yeah. There's a couple ways that people don't even think about. And you can literally make a sale page and an ebook for free, have it auto delivered through eJunkie for like $10 a month. And then you can use your social media automation software to just keep running posts 24/7. So technically people could buy from you while you're asleep. Nice. And that's what, $20 a month? Yeah. That's pretty good. All right, great. Now, one of the things that I know that you're really big on is planning. You know, a lot of times businesses have, well, since 2001, businesses have kind of been forced to have a terrorism plan. You know, what are you going to do in that type of situation? Because we've had it, right? And I'm going to take a guess that many people didn't really have a plan in place for something like this, considering we've never experienced anything like this in the digital age, right? Not my lifetime, not your lifetime, not my parents' lifetime. And my dad was 60 years older than me. That goes back a long time, you know? We have no idea how to prepare for this. So what kind of plan can a business do now to help them stay afloat, stay in business, stay relevant, even if it is a brick and mortar, through this time, so that on the other side of it, if they are able to save that brick and mortar, they can go forward with it and they lose as little as possible. What do you think?
The biggest thing is to trim the expenses you don't need, however much you can do. Consolidate employee responsibilities. So maybe you can have, if you had a staff of 5, maybe you could have a staff of 3 and just give them a few extra jobs. They're not going to be thrilled about that, but I'm sure they'll be happy to keep their jobs. So, there's always that. And run the leanest model you possibly can that still makes sales, that is effective, and that has plans for growth.
Okay, great.
So essentially what you're doing is you're just looking at what the most effective business model for your business is, and then incorporating it and doing it right.
And doing what you can to shave off for efficiency's sake. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How about
Shave
a
off costs.
visibility? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, shaving off costs. Maybe you close down a couple hours a day to cut down on the electric bill. Like I said, consolidate workers for labor costs, and maybe even outsource using Fiverr. Who knows? Nice.
Yeah, Fiverr is a great resource to have if you're not already aware of it. Yeah, it's Fiverr, Fiverr, or is it just Fivrr? Either way, yeah, check it out. There's a lot of technologically savvy artists on there that can do a lot of digital stuff that doesn't look like it was put together like me, by me. All right, so tell me about a visibility plan. Why should a company have a visibility plan, and what will it do for it?
Okay. So a visibility plan can be done in 2 ways. You can either have highly visible employees that are always talking about the company and creating content and encouraging people to check out the business, or you can have the business running itself as a visible entity, doing things in the community, helping people out, creating like stories, donating nonprofits, things like this. The more visible a company is, the more likely people are to check it out. And I always encourage, this is such a weird idea, I always encourage business owners to turn their employees into social media micro influencers. So imagine if you had 5 Robs that are working for some company, and they're creating content, they're doing Facebook Lives about the company, and they're touring the floor and interviewing other employees and talking about why the company's so great. And you have them creating all this content. First of all, the SEO is going to go up in Google searches organically if you're using hashtags. And it's a very asymmetrical way of doing things, but the more people that are talking about your business, obviously, the more people are going to check it out, and this in turn leads to sales. Visibility plans are huge.
That's great ideas. Any other little techniques that people can just run with after watching this to help maybe make themselves feel better that it's not all lost?
Are you talking about on like a mental health and clarity type?
No, we will get to that though. I'm just talking about, like, you just had a couple of really great ideas of people walking through and interviewing coworkers and stuff like that. Any other quick tips that people could run with?
the biggest thing is to promote other businesses. And for those that know me for a while, you know, this is the Dr. Rob tip number one is promote 3 to 5 businesses every single week, because it gets you on their feed, gets you exposure to their audience, and you're sending your audience to them as well. And it's very good social currency. I promote a ton of businesses every single week, ton of projects, and it's all part of sharing the wealth.
Fabulous. Now let's talk about that mental health check-in around all of this, because it can get very heavy. You know, I woke up this morning. I actually woke up about 3:00 this morning and started tinkering around with this, and had a couple of emails come through from Airbnb. Now, you know, I Airbnb to, you know, for travel money, for fun money. And right now, thank God Bill's in the pool business, because the health department has determined that's an essential thing. So his company is going to do fine, because the health department wants the pools not to be green. But yeah, I got a notice saying that my Airbnb guest decided not to come next weekend. And while I can understand that, you know, that still leaves me out that fee, right? So it's very heavy in that thought I had money coming in there, not going to have money coming in there due to circumstances beyond my control. How do I bring myself up out of that and still be cheerful and drive new business to other companies and just trust that it's all going to work out when the evidence in my face is everything I've built is falling apart?
First of all, thank you. I mean, that was a perfect way to describe it. And I feel like a lot of people that are going to be watching this are going to be like, she's talking about me. Because, you know, I'm in the same boat too. And I'm constantly examining, okay, you know, I lost a few clients, I gained a few clients, I'm getting sales here and there. But at the end of the day, you have to show confident leadership. And if you have to take a day off for your own clarity and just sneak out and go for a walk and, you know, hang out with your animals or whatever you got to do, watch a comedy show on Netflix, but take the time to regroup, to turn off the negative flow of information and just find yourself. Back in the day when I was 4 years ago, I was living in an apartment. I was just starting to do all this stuff, and I had almost no friends, and I was just kind of lonely to live alone. I would take neighborhood walks, and I would make sure to pet people's cats, and I would smile at little kids and just say hi to my neighbors. And it was just good to be around people. It was good to get out and get some sunshine and be alone, you know, just be there with my thoughts and not focus on anything that was going to stress me out.
Gotcha.
So
Give me 1 second here. We have a guest trying to sign in, and she needs to hang up. Jennifer, if you're there, please disconnect. I don't know what's going on with this,
So it is important, Gail, like I talked about this morning on my Facebook Live, to make sure that you are focused on balance. You're exercising, you're
Beautiful.
doing things that make you laugh, you're getting sunlight, you're, you know, reaching out to relatives. I call my grandmother every week. She's like 92. And I think one of the highlights of her week is hearing from her goofy, unemployed grandson.
Does she still consider you unemployed after 4 years? She does, doesn't she? She's like, you ever gonna get a real job, Robbie? Instead of playing with all your army military dudes. I probably don't even sound like her. I sound like a 3-year-old, not a 92-year-old.
Most of my relatives are female, so I'm actually the successful one.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. All right, so tell me a little bit about this invisible paycheck. That seems pretty amazing.
So what I brought today for all the fans is my free ebook called The Invisible Paycheck. And you're going to post the link so that everybody can download it. Mm-hmm. What it is one of my more recent creations. And what I wanted to do was something a little bit different. I wanted to talk about passive and active income streams, but But I also want to talk about the early stage mistakes I made so that people can look at this and be like, oh, I don't want to repeat what Rob did. I talked about my mistakes in branding. I gave some examples of my early work, like, so I could really, really, put it out there. So people could see the things that I did that weren't selling, and then how I turned it around. And I created Tactile CEQ, which is probably up to $25,000 in sales now, completely organically.
Nice.
Because I want people to understand, and I call it the invisible paycheck, because you can make your own paycheck out of air. And all you have to do is create information products, monetize your skill set, and become an authority.
Seems pretty simple. Is it actually as easily said or done as said?
It's never easy, but if you put in the work and you associate with the right people and really believe in yourself and you do good things, it can happen. I'm not a guru or an influencer. I don't make outlandish promises about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just know if you have a strong work ethic and you really pay attention to the other people on your team, that they will lift you up as well. So
Awesome. That's one of the things that I like best about you, Rob, is that you are a pragmatic realist. You don't shy away from saying, yeah, it takes work. Yeah, it takes focus. I've seen a few of your posts on Facebook that goes, oh, damn, he's got a camera in here somewhere. When it's telling me to, stop arguing politics and go focus on your business for a while. I'm like,
I want to leave you with an interesting thought. Let's say this lifts in a month. In that month, can you look back and really say, okay, I ran my business properly. I developed income streams. I helped people in my network. I looked out for the people that needed it. Or are you going to look back and say, I argued about Trump all day. I was unnecessarily mean to people. I wasted time watching sports and reality TV, and I selfishly hoarded my time and didn't reach out to anybody in need.
Right.
Who do you want to be when that month passes?
That is an excellent point. Excellent point. Well, thank you very, very much for joining me today and for all of the valuable insights that you've offered. I know that any company, Jennifer, please hang up. Thank you. I wonder if her phone is automatically zooming back in because we had a chat this morning. So at any rate, thank you so much for being here and your contribution today. I know that everybody who watched this, if they just took one insight away and put it into action, that would make a huge mass, I'm looking for a particular word, mass consciousness shift into, we'll get through this. It's not going to last forever, and just keep moving, right? So thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome. All righty. So I will put the link to the Invisible Paycheck, the free download that Rob is offering us, into the comments below this. And if you have any questions or would like to have a consultation with Dr. Rob, please put a comment in there. He'll be looking through all of the comments under this post, and we'll get you hooked up so that you can get the valuable help and support that he's been offering lots of people so far, including me. So thanks again, once again, Rob. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and take care.